Okay, one thing I'm gonna say is that the world is terrifying nowadays. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like every girl I walk up to nowadays, I'm gonna have to ask for ID, because at this point, a 12-year-old can look like she's 20, and a 20-year-old can look like she's 50. Like, it just makes no sense to me. No one actually ends up looking their age in this time and age, and it actually scares the life out of me. And this is one of those crazy stories. But before I do get into this story, I just want to say a quick announcement that I am currently live streaming on YouTube. Literally, I am going live on YouTube on Bubba Gaming, so make sure you guys go subscribe to the page. Link is down in the description down below. And also on top of that, I am also live on Twitch on BabaStreams, the usual channel that I usually go live on. So if you guys do want to watch me playing video games live and also telling crazy stories like this one, well, my best advice would be subscribe to those channels. Other than that, let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place, funny enough, right after my grad year. This was when I was turning 19 years old, and honestly, I was still the same kid somewhat from high school. I realized that after I graduated, not much has changed about me. For example, I still enjoy doing the Devil's Tango, and I still play Call of Duty and video games all the time. Actually, speaking of Call of Duty, anyone else playing the new Modern Warfare 2? Going on though, I remember randomly one time when I was 19, I basically went up to a friend's house and basically started hanging out with him more. Because, you know, usually after high school, you start to lose a lot of friends, and it kind of just sucks. But at the same time, were they really your friends? Anyways, going on, I remember went to his house, and basically he came at the front door saying, yo, bro, we're gonna quickly go back to your place. You gotta get changed. You're gonna be looking good for tonight. I ended up telling him and looking at him saying, why would I have to look good for tonight? I thought we're just chilling at your place playing video games. And then he said, nah, dude, like, trust me, bro. We're 19. We're gonna go to a club and we're gonna meet some chicks, bro. I ended up looking at him and kind of tilting my head saying, we're going to a club tonight? Like, what's the point? Because I'm not gonna lie, the club wasn't really considered cool anymore for me. I don't know. It just seemed kind of boring, just sitting, listening to music and seeing a bunch of chicks dance while you sit in the back and just wait till one wants you and then comes up to you and ends up doing the Devil's Tango with you. But then he said, nah, bro, like, trust me, the club we're going to, you're gonna love it, bro. Trust me, man. And then I remember we ended up going back to my house, and I got dressed and basically started asking him questions like, so why is this club so different? Why are we going to this club? Is it really worth it going to this club? I kept asking him back to back, and then he said, bro, trust me, man, this club is gonna get you going crazy because there's a lot of good older women that know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? What is what I told him? But then he said, dude, we're 19 now, man. You know, we got to get out of the high school stage and just go talk to some older women. In my opinion, it was kind of gross and kind of weird because, you know, they're older women, I guess. I don't know. I usually don't go for anything above like 2 years older for me, but I don't know. He had a point, meaning that I had to get out of the high school stage, so I kind of just went along with it. I remember me and him, we ended up getting into his car, and from his car, we ended up driving to the club. It was around like 7:30 at night, so it was kind of early to go to the club. So when we got there, I remember I told him, bro, like, can we come back like in like maybe 2 hours? Like, it's really early, bro. And then he said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You know what? Let's quickly go to like chill at like the mall near here. So me and him, we ended up going to the mall. When we ended up going to the mall, we were kind of like overdressed for the mall somewhat. Like, I don't know. I was wearing a pretty nice high-end outfit that I usually wouldn't wear at the mall. Because I'm gonna be honest, if I get to wear sweatpants, I'm gonna wear sweatpants. But then I remember basically me and him, we started walking around the mall. And when we did, I remember he was just explaining to me how he had an experience with an older woman. He said, dude, like, I remember, bro, I went to this club one time, Bubba, and trust me, man, like, I went with this girl, dude, like, she was like 6 years older than me, but she knew what she was doing. I looked at her, I'm like, what do you mean 6 years older? He's like, dude, we're 19, right? So like this chick, I think she was like only like 27, 28. What is what I told him? I'm like, dude, that's like a full-on mother. I don't know. Usually, like, I find it really odd when someone's like in their late 20s dating like a super young guy, like in the like early, like, you know, teenagers, I guess I should say. So I was weirded out, but then he kept telling me how it was like one of the greatest experiences of his life. So I just went along with it and said, sure. And me being 19, honestly, like, it never hurt to experience doing the Devil's Tango with like someone older in a way. So going on, I remember time passed by, we ate some food, and we ended up going back to the club. It was around 9:30 p.m. and when we got to the club, I remember we stood at the lineup, we went to the bouncer, and the bouncer had to check our IDs. The bouncer looks at our IDs saying, you guys are really young, eh? Like, you guys just turned old enough to go to the club, huh? And we ended up looking at him and we're like, yeah, like, you know, we're trying out new places. He looks at us and he ends up laughing. He's like, sure, new places, okay. And he gives back our IDs and lets us walk in. When we walked in, I realized that there were no young people. And by young people, I mean like people similar to my age at the time. So like, reminder, I'm 21 right now, so this was like almost 2 years ago. But anyways, I remember I was looking around and I'm like, dude, like there's a lot of like moms here, because like you can tell when someone was a mom, you know, like it just makes sense. But I remember when we walked in, we started like seeing a lot of like crazy people and stuff, and a lot of moms were smoking, drinking margaritas. Same old, same old. By the way, don't drink or smoke. It is not good for you. Anyways, going on, I remember I just walked around with my friend around the club and stuff, and when it became more towards night, and by night, I mean like 12, almost 11:30 at night, my friend told me, bro, let's go to the dance floor. Trust me, bro. Let's go meet some ladies. You know what I'm saying? It's our time now. I ended up saying, whatever. And me and him, we ended up basically going to the dance floor, and when we did, we started just kind of like, you know, swaying side to side, looking around, seeing what was going on. And then out of nowhere, these two old ladies came up to us, but at the same time, they didn't really look old. For some reason, one of the ladies looked basically like 22, and I was like, oh, you know, maybe 1-year-old would never hurt. So I started dancing with her, and my friend ended up going for the really old lady that was probably around her 30s or probably even 40s. I remember I basically looked at him and kind of just started laughing, but at the same time, kind of disgusted. But me knowing that I had a girl that was like basically 22, like I thought it was maybe her daughter or something. So I started dancing with the younger one, and me and her, we started like chilling and stuff, and basically like, you know, just talking about life. But I'm gonna be honest, since I drank so much in the past 2 hours before I actually ended up meeting these two women, I was kind of wasted. Reminder once again, don't drink. Going on though, out of nowhere, I remember this girl was like, hey, so like, do you want to like maybe like come back to my place? Like, I have no one over right now. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm down, because me in my mind thinking that she was 22, you know, like might as well, like maybe she has her own place and everything, more accomplished than I am. So I basically told her to wait up, and I started looking around for my friend to see where he was so I could tell him that I was going home with this chick. But at the same time, I could not find him whatsoever. Everywhere I looked, I could not find my buddy. Like, I had no idea where he was. Apparently, I texted him and he said, dude, I'm in her car right now hooking up with her. Like, just go do your own thing, man. I'm doing the devil's tango with her anytime soon, so just don't bug me. Okay. I guess my friend was doing the devil's tango with like a 35-year-old chick. Good for him, I guess. So I ended up walking up to the other chick that originally wanted to hang out with me, and I ended up going home with her. I remember I ended up going inside this taxi we took, and we went back home to her place. And when I went to her place, I realized that this house looked really familiar. I kept looking around and stuff, and I'm like, I swear I've been here before, because I got major deja vu. But then I remember out of nowhere, when I ended up going inside her bedroom, I was like, have I really been here before? Then I realized something. I have been in the house before. I recognized some photos on the wall, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I kind of just let it go and said, whatever. Me and her, we ended up basically going to the bedroom, and me and her, we ended up doing the devil's tango for like a good like hour or so. But then out of nowhere, I remember I had to go to the bathroom, so I went out of the room to go to the bathroom in the hallway. And it was weird because I knew exactly where the bathroom was, but I wasn't sure how. And then I remember when I went to the bathroom, I saw the door was locked, so I knocked on the door thinking no one was in there. But then after that, 5 seconds later, the door opens, and it was literally a chick that I went to high school with. But it was no ordinary chick. This was a chick that I actually have done the devil's tango before. I remember she opens the door and she's like, Baba, what are you doing here? And I'm like, hey, wait, what are you doing here? And she's like, I live here. Don't you remember we did it before here? And I remember I looked at her and I'm like, oh my goodness, everything makes sense now. And right as I was figuring out everything, basically the girl that I ended up doing the devil's tango with comes out of the room in like her robe, and she sees that I'm talking to this girl, and she's like, oh, like, go back to sleep. You don't need to see this. And after that, the girl that went to my high school looks at me and says, OMG, Bubba, did you just do the devil's tango with my grandmother? I looked at her and I looked at her grandmother. I'm like, that's your grandmother? She doesn't look a day past 22. She ended up taking that as a compliment. And basically, I ended up getting slapped across the face by the girl I ended up going to high school with. And yeah, I guess I ended up doing 2 people in her family bloodline. And also, she ended up telling me her age was 55. So, I mean, wow, she became a grandma real young. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. So make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, means a lot when you guys do. And once again, subscribe to Bubba Gaming, because I'm going to be going live on there and live streaming on there, telling you guys more crazy stories like this one. And also follow me on Instagram, because I am the hottest guy in the world. Other than that, follow for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.
My name is Baba. I'm still on top of the world. Devil's tango with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil, hit different with some more. She said she love me, she kept. Should I ask it for sure? I got 100K for my life's work.